do it raw, baby.
Hi, I'm host Eric. This is Talking to Spanish People, and tonight I interview a Trump supporter. This is Trump supporter Francisco. So I know a lot of liberal, college-educated folks who express the following sentiments. I do not understand how anyone could support Trump. Now, I can wait for him. Now, my first question to you is this. Do you think that you would normally vote for a Republican? If Trump weren't in the race, would you vote for a Republican?
No.
Would you vote for a Democrat?
No.
Would you vote at all?
This is gonna be strange to all you watching this video, but I've never voted. I'm 29 years old, and my whole life I've never felt a stronger conviction than to vote now. It's a shocker right there. I know. I've never voted, never cared for my mayors or.
That you haven't voted
senators.
isn't a shocker, but that showed that this particular guy has evoked in you a lot of passion for politics. And normally you don't feel for politics.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, do you feel like which of the following statements would you agree with as true? I'm going to give you three statements, and you tell me which ones are true, and which one you think are false. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one is Donald Trump is bringing an honesty to the race that other politicians don't bring to the race.
Do I think that's true?
True or false?
It's undeniably true. Like we see that every time he gets interviewed, anytime that man even opens his mouth. Yes, true.
So he's not bullshitting as much as the other candidates.
No, I actually think on the contrary that his mouth is going to get him in trouble because I don't think he's bullshitting at all.
Okay. So now a lot of people are fixated on the racism stuff. A lot of people have said, quoted him as talking about Mexicans as being this way or that way and building walls and stuff like that. Now, I have it on good authority from a family member of yours that you are Mexican.
Yes, I am.
Do you have an opinion about the racist stuff, or if it is racist, if it's not racist, what it is?
I'm very opinionated. Not only do I know Trump is not a racist, but I think the fact that the media, particularly the Hispanic and Latin community, when you look at Channel 34 and Telemundo, the way they've been manipulated, the way they represent him in the media, I think as people, to a certain extent, we've almost become ignorant. And it's almost like we're being told by our own personal community leaders that Trump is a racist.
Okay, can I pause you for a second? So, just to clarify, you're saying that Mexican television has a clear bias against Trump.
Yes, the owners do. The chain channels owners, they do. They're not pro-Trump, and they're not invested in his campaign, and they don't stand for what he stands for.
Are there any media outlets though that are pro-Trump?
I believe any media light that he's seen good in is probably maybe. Gosh, the only media that I personally seen that I've gone out of my way to see that's pro-Trump is kind of third branches like InfoWars, right? Like you have Alex Jones, you have Truthsayers. Sometimes BBC will cover Trump in a good light, but I feel what it's like. I forgot what senator said this, and he said this live on Fox and CNN when the debate was going on. And I wish I can pull it up for you guys right now, but I encourage you to Google it because this is real. And Alex Jones did a special on it. I don't know if it was a senator, somebody from the own Republican Party said that they won't support Trump because they can't control him, and he's not actually funded by their own people. If you look at the whole election, you have to look at the last name here. We have Bush, who's trying to run, right? And then we have the Clintons. They're all part of the same power structure. It doesn't matter. Don't look at the fact that they're Democratic or Republican or liberals, whatever the label may be. Trump is changing the game, and the voters are showing that. Because he's telling it like it is, because he's talking about subjects that nobody wants to touch, and they're only really being touched or emphasized because Trump keeps bringing it up.
You mentioned something about his tax plan. I have no idea what it is. What is his tax plan? Approximately. I mean, is it what does he claim it does?
I guess what he's okay. And by the way, I'm not the number one person to ask, but from what I kind of understood is he wants to make certain brackets, right, depending on how much an American citizen makes a year, and he's actually raising the amount. Where he wants to do this thing, and don't quote me on numbers exactly, like I said, I encourage you to do your own research, but I believe he said any American who's making under $50,000 a year should be able to do his taxes for free. And if H&R Block hears this, if Jack Hewitt hears this, all these major corporations who have money invested on all these machines that make money off of us, they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna want to hear that. Now and the list goes on. I think.
But oh yeah, okay. I guess you're right. 150,000. But I think they're gonna. Well, when I hear you say he said he's gonna make it free to pay taxes, what he means is he's gonna make it so easy that you won't have to hire anybody.
Right.
Which means he's going to have more like a flat tax, right?
Right. Because I think technically, I mean, I may be wrong, but I think you can just do your taxes for free if you do everything yourself, I suppose.
Yeah, you can.
But the point of all this is that people are quick to judge him because it's politically incorrect or socially acceptable to vote for Trump, and they fail to look at his actual policies that he wants to implement, like building the wall, the immigrant law, and he's always misquoted, misrepresented. Like, I encourage you. The way I look at it is, if you're anti-Trump, like, I have no hate for you. Like, go right ahead. My thing is just like, do the actual research instead of what Fox News wants to show you, or CNN or ABC. Do the actual research yourself and read his quotes all the way and find out what the man's about.
Here's one critique I have of him. I think it's a fair critique. Abraham, you're going to break this next time, so I'm moving it out of your way. You don't have SI, huh, Abraham? He ran into the same thing like 5 times. So, anyway, he doesn't seem to really answer questions in a meaningful way. Like, he kind of avoids questions. He expresses kind of like an emotional tone about it.
Right.
He expresses confidence that he's going to be able to deal with it. He expresses experience in having dealt with similar things. He expresses the ability to find the right people to help him do it. But he doesn't really answer exactly what he's going to do a lot of times. But personally, I see that as in some way more honest than telling us what you're going to do, because the reality is you'll have to figure it out when you get there.
That's true. That is true.
The circumstances are going to change, and you have to get a lot of people on board to cooperate. You have to sort of massage it out as it goes down.
I agree. You know what's one last thing that I want to leave with too? I want to leave with this. I want to leave with this last comment, and I want to say this is, and I'm gonna just dumb it way down, right? When you let's say you have an event coming up and it's like a dance, right? And you're excited, it's going to be a competition for a dance, and you don't have no idea how to dance, but you have a date when you got to get ready because you're going to go compete for a dance, right? So common sense would tell you, man, I don't know how to dance. This dance is coming up, so I'm going to go, find somebody who's a dance coach, right? Because they're going to teach me how to dance. Same thing with the swimming coach, if we're going to swim, et cetera, et cetera. The thing is that when we want to go to a source, or we want to get a good feeling for something or learn something new, we generally go to people that have experience in those areas. So I ask people, a lot of these candidates, we grab them all, right? Which I don't know them all by heart. I probably should. Bernie Sanders, Clinton, Jeff Bush, was out now? I believe he's out. You grab all these people and you look at their track records, and you look at them as people like you and me, right? And you say, well, what have they dedicated themselves, in the past years? What are their accomplishments? Like, if, for example, one's a baker, well, how many bake shops does he have? How much money has he revenue, and how successful are his bakeries? Are his bakeries making a difference in the baking community, etc. Right? And so when you look at that, and you look at Trump, and you look at what this man has accomplished, it's like it's a no-brainer. Why not have? I mean, if we had the governor, for crying out loud. I mean, this guy was a bodybuilder, which, by the way, I love bodybuilding. I admire what Arnold did, and it's great that he's became governor. That's great. But the way I look at it is, if we were open enough to give him California, why not be open to give the U.S. to Trump for a change, right? I mean, look at what he did with his companies. Look at what he's done with his money. The man obviously knows how to be assertive, how to be aggressive, and knows how to run a company. If I'm going to run a country, of course I want to place somebody who's run a multi-million-dollar company and continues to grow and is very tough on people. How do you know he's not going to have that attitude for this country?
Well, I will tell you this. There's absolutely no doubt that he has accomplished a million times more than any of the other candidates in the election, because the other people have not only not accomplished anything, they've done the exact opposite. They've done nothing but pure harm. They've stolen their whole lives. They've been politicians. So they haven't
and
done
their families.
That means,
at that.
look, if you're a politician, it means you don't create any wealth, you don't do any work. Okay? Those two things are true. You don't create any wealth and you don't do any work. Why? Because your job is to manage stealing and spending the money that people who do actually work and do create wealth create. And so it's not possible to do real work when your job is the stealing and management of the stolen funds from the population. Now, if there's any candidate in the field that I think actually would probably try to reduce taxes, it would probably be Trump. I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson. But if Gary Johnson, if I had to vote for a Republican or a Democrat or something, if I had to vote for a non-libertarian, I would definitely pick Trump over Sanders, Marco Rubio, serial killer, or Hillary Clinton. So, and the reason for that is, even if I were to totally buy into the contemptuous dismissal of the man that seems to be the status quo media portrayal of him, which I think is not appropriate, because he's obviously way smarter than he appears. Obviously. So, I mean, he could just be an ENDP playing the world's most spectacular practical joke also, but by acting the way he does, it's a character. Anyway, the thing is, I would vote for him over the others because of the simple fact that, number one, he doesn't have he doesn't have a track record of having done violence against the American people, which the other candidates all do. They have a track record of spending their whole careers doing violence against the American people. So I wouldn't want them in office. And number two, to the extent that everybody hates Trump, he wouldn't get anything accomplished, which means the government would do less harm under him than under anybody else. So, Fernando, for I'm sure quite different reasons, you and I are both behind the notion of a Trump presidency over, anyway, the presidency of Bernie Sanders, Marco Rubio, serial killer, or Hillary Clinton.
Yes. And by the way, for my Spanish-speaking people that are going to understand me when they watch this video, Marco Rubio, and they know what I'm talking about, the family Fox and Calderon, every time you were funded by KMEX or Telemundo, you know you're going down, you know you're going to lose this election, and you guys know that the wall will be built, and I believe it's going to be something very good for America. And this is coming from a Mexican Hispanic.
Okay, so Telemundo Network, you've just been called out, buddy.
Boom.
You've just been called out, Telemundo. All right, thanks for watching Talk with Faith, people.